Kingdom News Network presents Al Baird Live.
Welcome to our premiere broadcast of Al Baird Live. We're glad to have as our very first guest, John Bringardner, General Counsel for the International Churches of Christ. Welcome, John. What's new with the law?
Well, Al, it's great to be here. We've had a very busy year in media law in 1995, and our primary goal is making sure that no one, especially Doug Arthur, begins a prison ministry unless they intend to. One of our biggest challenges in the United States and worldwide is all the lawsuits that are being filed for sometimes even the most frivolous things. It can cost tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars for a lawsuit. And so I think it's very important we try to avoid lawsuits at all costs.
So tell us what you've done.
Well, this last year we focused on several issues. I like to call them the 5 C's on the high seas. The first C is the corporate issues we faced. We've incorporated the International Churches of Christ and several of the world sector corporations so that they are proper legal entities. We've also begun a legal audit of the LA Church so that we can prepare and understand all the legal issues we're going to face in some of these other churches. The second C is child custody cases. This has become one of the hottest areas in divorce law, not just for our church, but for churches all over the United States. We need to protect the rights of our disciples who want to bring their children up in Christian homes. The third C is campus issues. We are fighting very much to protect the First Amendment rights of all of our students on campus. And in every instance we've faced, either the administration has backed down or they've silently looked the other way so that our students can continue to exercise their First Amendment rights to freedom of speech and freedom of religion on campus. The fourth C is copyright. And for the first time ever, one of our churches was sued in a lawsuit involving a copyright. I'm pleased to tell everybody that that lawsuit has been resolved amicably and the case was dismissed. We have total legal rights to use the song Rejoice. And the final C is the Children's Ministry Program. We've developed a comprehensive program to reduce the risk of child abuse or child molestation in all of our churches. This program, we have been told by experts in the field, is on the cutting edge of children's ministry programs throughout the United States.
I understand that you've prepared a manual for church leaders.
That's correct. We have a children's ministry training manual that we have drafted, and that is now available through all the world sector administrators to all our churches all over the world.
What have you been doing about the corporate structure?
Well, as I mentioned, we've already set up ICC and several of the world sectors as separate corporations. And that way, each one of these corporations now can abide by the laws of the land. Second, we've prepared a corporate packet that we're making available to all of our churches. And this will include appropriate documents to show them how to incorporate their church, also documents on how to pass certain resolutions that each of these corporations need to have, and finally, a training manual to help them prepare their board of directors to really govern the corporate body of the church.
Well, John, I'm sure everyone's going to be fired up about that.
I'm sure they are too.
I think it's time we take our first call. Florida, you're on the air.
We know we're supposed to have people teaching in the children's program 6 months at a time. But one of the ministers here feels that it's too hard for us. We're afraid this will hurt the people spiritually.
Well, Jaime, I understand your question. I think it's important to realize that we need to look out for what's in the best interest of our children in the children's ministry programs. The experts we've talked to have recommended that we institute a 6-month service rule, and all of our leaders have agreed to that rule. I think it's also important to realize that really this gives many of our members a role in the worship service that they would never have. It lets them work with the children. And finally, we're making a very strong statement that our children are important. We need to remember, these are our future disciples.
Next caller.
We have a person who confessed in the Light and Darkness study that he molested a neighbor. What should we do?
Vivian, this is a difficult question, and it depends really on the law in the given state and the circumstances in each case. In some states, the minister may be a mandatory reporter, and they have to report the incident. If they don't do so, that could be a crime. In some states, they may be a permissive reporter, which means they may report the situation. But you've always got to remember that as a minister, whatever's confessed to them may be confidential. And if they report that, they may be liable later on in a lawsuit for damages. That's why it's very important in cases like this, you consult a local attorney to find out what are the laws in your states and how that affects the facts in this particular situation.
Caller from Tokyo, go ahead.
One of our churches wants to use the words from a Madonna song for their Women's Day brochure. Is that all right?
Well, Chris, I think first of all, you probably ought to check the lyrics in that song. But secondly, we need to understand that the lyrics of a song really belong to the person that wrote that song. That's their property and they own it. And you can't use that property unless you have the permission of the writer to do that. It's really no different than going into a grocery store and stealing some food to provide a meal for your Bring Your Neighbor Day. The food belongs to the grocery store and you have to pay for it, and the words belong to the author and you need to pay for it or receive permission before you can use it.
Washington, what's your question?
We'd like to use a sister in the children's ministry who was abused as a child. Can she still volunteer?
Donna, that's a very interesting question. I think we need to understand that really we don't hold people's past against them, and that the only situation where someone would not be permitted to work in our children's ministry program is if there's a person who has abused a child or molested a child in their past. And we don't allow them to work because we want to protect both them and the child in case anything ever should happen in that situation. Donna, you and the ministry workers in your church are in the best position to really understand this particular person, whether or not they are appropriate for your children's ministry program. What you need to do is go through the application procedure and document all your questions and their responses. Make sure that you include everything from the interview process, and finally check out their references. And if you're satisfied that this person can serve in your ministry, then you need to do that.
Next caller.
Hey, some of our students were told they couldn't share their faith on campus. What should we do?
We need to understand from the very beginning the Supreme Court has absolutely guaranteed our rights to free speech and freedom of religion on our campuses. And I think we need to understand that in every case that we've had to deal with this situation, the university has either backed down or silently turned their head and allowed our students to do what they have a right to do on campus. Now, there are a couple things that are important if you're facing a situation like this. First is you need to get an accurate statement from all the students involved. Find out what was said to them and who said it, when it was said, and what was done. You need to find out where these students were at the time this incident occurred, and really what were they trying to do on campus. We need to always remember to respect the rights of other students on campus so we don't get into trouble by being offensive. But you need to understand we do have the right on these campuses to share our faith, and in many instances we have the right to have Bible studies right there on public campus.
Let's go to Las Vegas for our next call.
My question is, do we really need to hire attorneys for these legal issues? They're awfully expensive.
That's right, and that's why it's important that you talk to your World Sector Administrator beforehand. You see, the legal arena is very expensive. That's why we try to stay out of the legal arena. In fact, the copyright case that we defended cost over $50,000, and we never even went to court. Some of our larger churches have put legal fees in their budget, and I want to commend Boston and New York for doing that because I think it really helps them with the legal issues that they've got. Now, there's some confusion about our role in media law. I think people need to understand we're not in a position to handle every legal matter that may come up. In fact, what we need to do and what we're trying to do is to develop legal policies to protect our churches and also to litigate cases that we decide may have some impact on the kingdom. All other legal costs will fall on the local church. And it's very important then that you know the different policies so that you can stay out of legal trouble.
Next caller.
John, this is Dave Traber. I need some help. Our luggage, Kimmy and my luggage, has lost. And inside it are our passports and also our marriage certificate. Kimmy, now she's out praying. Listen, bro, you got to help me here. What am I supposed to do? Because, I'm sitting right down here in the police station and...
Gee, Dave, I really feel your pain.
I must say that it's touching to see that the law has such a big heart. So, John, what's in the future?
Well, there's 3 projects we've been working on. The first is we've updated our media packets, which everybody here should be getting. And what we've done is shown the incredible growth our churches have had this last year. The second project is we're working on a new administrative guidelines so that each of the churches will know what guidelines to put in effect in their individual churches to protect those churches. And then finally, we're going to be hosting this fall our very first attorneys forum and inviting lawyers from all over to come to Los Angeles to see how they can protect their churches.
John, it's been great having you with us. Thanks for being our first guest.
It's been great to be here, Al.
We'll be back in just a moment with our second guest, Cecil Wooten.
Now throw your hands up in the air and wave from side to side. And if you got much love for KNN, somebody scream, all right. Now just throw your hands up in the air and wave from side to side. And if you got much love for KNN, somebody scream, all right.
Our next guest is the World Administrator for the International Churches of Christ. He's 71 and still going strong. Let's welcome Cecil Wooten. Cecil, welcome to our show. What's new with the administrative side of the kingdom?
Well, Being as open as I am, Al, I thought I'd just let you know that I came here with a little bit of an attitude. When I learned that law and media were going to each have 10 minutes on this tape, and administration was only given a paltry 5 minutes, I felt slighted. Then I read Proverbs 10:19, and I understood why Kip and Steve had given me only 5 minutes. Proverbs 10:19 says, "When words are many, sin is not absent."
I'm not even going to go there. Cecil, you're a man of great integrity. You set very high standards for our administrators. Could you tell us a little about that?
Well, since God has appointed those with gift of administration, the role is definitely spiritual. Therefore, only administrators who are known for their spirituality and competence are chosen for their positions. We're making every effort to be righteous in the eyes of men as well as the eyes of God. Just this year, our churches are being audited by outside firms with very positive results. Our administrators are to be commended for bringing the integrity to our record keeping and financial procedures.
So tell us about 1995 so far.
Well, Al, 1995 thus far has been a phenomenal year for the forceful advancement of the kingdom. This year, the disciples will increase approximately 25 to 30%. The number of churches will increase from 188 to over 200 in 70 different nations. Each world sector has exceeded their special missions contribution goal for 1995. Staff salary and benefit expenses are within budget plans. The world sector leader's 6-year strategic plan is definitely on course.
One of the things that I find most remarkable about you is the relationship that you have with Kip. How has it grown so strong?
Well, early on, Kip and I recognized that without close relationships between the ministry leaders and the administrators, the work in the kingdom would be hindered. Jesus considered his disciples his friends. Everything that he had learned, he told to his disciples. And in the same way, administrators need to be in the close circle of advisors for the ministry leaders. In order for the ministry leaders to get the full input from the administrators, and the administrators to have the possibility of knowing what's going on. We're both great friends. We have a good relationship. We trust one another. We're very close. We spend time together. We talk on the phone. There's nothing that we are unable to discuss with each other. We don't always agree, but we always reconcile. There's never been anything that we've been unable to reconcile and come to a position that we both can truly support with all of our heart. And another thing that makes me feel close to Kip is that he actually asks for my input, even in areas not related to administrative matters. He includes me in all of his ministry leaders' meetings. Then Kip and I talk daily. I send all of my administrative memos to him for review. I get his input. He responds quickly. He'll call me back immediately and tell me if he sees a change that needs to be made or a revision that needs to be made. Kip has always treated me with the utmost respect. He corrects me when I need to be corrected, and I'm able to take it because I know that he loves me. And when I see Kip handle a situation which I think he might have handled better, I do not hesitate to tell him exactly what I saw and how I feel like he might have done it better. And I do that knowing that Kip wants to hear my input and he listens to me openly.
Why don't you give our viewers a challenge?
Well, as all of you know, without the close relationships similar to what Jesus had with his disciples, the kingdom will not continue to advance forcefully. So I urge each of the ministry leaders and each of the administrators to work very, very diligently to forge the kind of relationships that would be pleasing to God. And now as I close, I want to thank Steve Johnson and Kip McKean for the full 5 minutes that I had on this tape. Thank you.
That about wraps up our first Al Baird Live, shown very infrequently at modest cost on most of these Kingdom channels. Stay tuned for an additional 10 minutes of a special edition of Late Night with Anthony Galang.
Now throw your hands up in the air and wave from side to side. And if you got much love for KNN, somebody scream, all right. Now just throw your hands up in the air and wave from side to side. And if you got much love for KNN,
I want to welcome you to KNN, the Kingdom News Network. We want to bring you the insider's view of the media part of the media law world sector and what it really does. KNN also produces the LA Story magazine, which is published twice monthly and distributed all over the world to all the leaders. And being in the land of Hollywood, what better way than to use movie themes for the magazine covers? What you may not realize is how difficult it is to come up with all these relevant movie titles. And I wanted to show you some of the movie titles that didn't make it. You may remember this edition of the basketball issue. Hoop Dreams. There's Corey Blackwell, obviously without a ladder. And we thought this was going to make it. White Man Can't Jump. I didn't think Doug Arthur would really appreciate this one. And here's a good one on our teen ministry. Remember this one? Stand and Deliver. I don't know why this one didn't make it, but this one was going to inspire them to go on to college. Revenge of the Nerds. Powerful. You might remember this one. This one was a great one. This was to commemorate Kip's 40th birthday. A Man for All Seasons. Kip is that kind of man. But you know, Kip actually suggested we use this one first, before that title. Grumpy Old Man. But right now, I'd like to bring out a very special guest. He's the anchorman for the Spanish version of KNN. He's a sector leader here in the LA Church, and sisters, he's an eligible bachelor. Let's welcome Guillermo Huesca. Let's put our hands together. Guillermo! I'm not too sure what time it is. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's super nice to be invited to be here.
Well, you know, all our Spanish brothers and sisters know that you're the anchorman for that version. Yeah. But many of us don't know that you were a professional in the television and film industry. What was the last work you did?
Well, I was really fortunate. In the last year, I was in about 20-something national commercials, and I do voice and other projects for radio. And the last project I did this year was a national McDonald's, so I'm really fortunate. I mean, God is good.
Oh. You play like a Big Mac or something like that?
No. I play the French fry. No, actually, I was the only human being. Everything else was special effects.
Hey, that's
It's very interesting.
Well, how do you feel about working on KNN?
I love KNN. KNN is an incredibly professional production. As a matter of fact, I brought a special tape just to show everyone how professional it really is.
It is a professional business.
Very.
It is. Am I in this?
Oh, absolutely. You are absolutely featured in this tape.
Hey, let's show it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Roll tape.
It's rolling.
So what are we doing here, Barbara? In the 1700s, the Wesleyan movement took a stand for scriptures and holy living. When KNN was being shown at the Champagne. Okay.
It is incredible how many have become.
It is incredible how many have become.
Oh, I mean, just continue.
Oh.
Am I not saying anything?
We also have a very dynamic outreach to the poor, whether it's a leper colony that we're housing, or a school, or a fly on my face. Let's start again.
И когда латин,
Самая объединенная... Hi, I'm Joyce Arthur, and we're from Washington, D.C.
This makes us appreciate Anthony.
Seulement, c'est ça?
Action.
Oh, action. Forgot.
Action. Action.
I read it.
The greatest wish for art and Cynthia Wong of Hawaii.
Another incredible story comes from Santo Domingo, where we were...
Le style de vie...
Hemos enfrentado...
Centros de crecimiento a través de familias.
Wilbur.
Stay in, let's go.
Irma, I really appreciate you bringing those in. I feel really encouraged. I'm built up.
Brother,
I'm ready to go.
I'm always happy to encourage you. Can we watch them again?
No. We'll have to move on and stuff.
Okay.
Great. What's all these phones ringing? Man, the phones are ringing like crazy here. Well, you know, we got another special guest. Another KNN team member, and I'd like to bring her out. She's the distinguished Gloria Baird.
Oh, you're kidding?
Yeah, let's give a hand for
Oh,
Gloria
that's
Baird.
awesome.
Gloria, it's really special to have you here on KNN.
Great to be here. Thanks.
I've always wanted to ask you, how have you seen KNN being used?
Well, an exciting thing we've heard is in Bogota, Colombia, in the church that's led by Flavio Uribe. They regularly show KNN in their Sunday service, and then a few weeks ago they had a whole Sunday where they showed 4 different KNN tapes for the whole service, and it was outstanding.
What kind of effects has KNN had on their ministries?
One of the things that we've heard the most is that as people are studying the Bible, when they actually see KNN and see the worldwide scope of the whole movement of God, they really are influenced by it and are able to see that it is God working in an incredible way. And an example of that we've seen even here in LA, a young man named Farshad was studying the Bible, and he's from Iran. And he saw it and was having some trouble, making his commitment. After seeing that, he realized that not only was it God's plan for his life, but for the whole world. He was baptized shortly after seeing KNN, so that's very exciting.
Well, it is so inspiring to see how God is using KNN and impacting the whole world.
We're grateful to be a part of it.
I'll bet you a lot of you out there wonder how we produce KNN editions. It all starts here. Wait a minute. Let's go take a look at how KNN is produced. I've always wanted to do this. Let's go. Come follow me out here. Hey guys, come here, follow me. Here we are at the combined offices of the LA Church, Kingdom Administration, and KNN. Let's see if we can find anyone. No one here. Roger? Where's that KNN staff? This is where it all begins. This is where the think tank is started and all the creative juices are flowing. Does anybody know where Al is? Natalie? Well, let's come through here. Oh, here's everybody. Hi, guys.
Oh,
Hey, you guys. Hey, what are you guys doing?
We're just
conducting some video research.
Yeah, we can use this stuff.
Hey, Anthony, what's with the camera, man?
I just wanted to show the whole world how KNN gets started.
Hey, cool it, guys. I'm not sure the kingdom's quite ready for this.
That's okay. We can edit this all later. No problem.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, I don't want to slow you guys down. You guys are doing a lot of work today. And,
Problems.
super productive.
Hey, whatever it takes, Anthony.
Keep up the great work, okay? Don't slouch off. Bye-bye, guys. Every time I leave this room, I'm inspired. Hey, guys, let's go into the studio. But we got to be really quiet. They're filming the French version of KNN.
Ma jolie famille s'appelle et moi Thierry Fender. Avons le privilège de vous présenter la 7e édition de KNN. Dont les yeux ne pouvaient pas voir et dont les oreilles ne pouvaient pas entendre la parole de Dieu. La foi.
Hey, Roger. Hey, I just wanted to come by and show everyone how we make KNN. Terry, Isabel, great to see you guys.
Hello. Good to see you.
Oh, this is Barbara Kraft, our line producer.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey, the set looks great.
We got a great crew here.
Fantastic. Well, hey, watch this and see how much work it takes to build this set. Amazing, huh? We better get out of here. They got a lot of work to do. Now we're at Digital Park where the first stage of editing takes place, called offline editing. This is where the show was first put together. Roger!
Hey, Anthony.
It's great to see you
Hey,
again.
whatever it takes, Anthony.
And this is Kurt, our editor.
Hey, Anthony.
Kurt, can you explain to us all your equipment and all the things that you do?
Sure, I'll be glad to, Anthony. What we have here is we have a digital, random access, non-linear editing system. Runs on a PC. It's a 486 running at 66 megahertz. What we do is we take all the tapes that come in from all the churches around the world and we digitize them into the system. So when we change something, we're not really physically moving anything around. All we're really doing is asking the editing system to show us something in a different way. Anthony? Anthony.
Huh? Kurt, that was fascinating stuff. I never get tired of hearing about how these are made. It's on to online.
You're down here. Don't forget your tapes.
From here, we take what Kurt has done, whatever that is, we take the online editing, final editing process. This is the online bay, where the master tape of the show is finally made. Hey, Roger, Barbara.
How you doing?
You guys never quit.
Hey, whatever it takes, bro.
Here's the final product.
Fantastic. I guess we're on to duplication.
All right, have fun.
Well, here we go, guys. Duplication. Hi, Sandy.
Hi there.
Here's the final KNN version that I promised you.
Great, thanks.
What's happening here?
We're duplicating some tapes, getting them ready to be labeled and shipped out.
Well, are all the duplications made here in your facility?
Yep, but that's not all we do here. We take the final masters that you bring us. The English gets closed captioned. We take the foreign versions and we subtitle those. Then we duplicate them to the specific standards that they need. The U.S. versions, which is the English usually, is the NTSC. We get the foreign versions, which go to PAL, PAL-M, and CCAM go overseas.
Well, great. Now that we've got our final duplication, we're going to box it and ship it. Come follow me. Oh, hi, Roger.
Hey, Anthony. How you doing?
I'm not even going to ask. How are you doing today, bro?
Great
to see you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you getting those done for us here. Now that KNN is packaged, labeled, it's ready to be shipped to you. Hey, Roger, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Get this to the Kathmandu Church for the special service tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. Whatever it takes, bro.
Amen. Thanks, I appreciate that. Back to the studio. That didn't take very long, did it? Hey, guys. Oh, you guys are still here.
Nobody told us to leave.
I didn't realize you guys were still here. Thanks for waiting for me. I appreciate that.
A good tour, huh?
Yeah. Well, we are committed to bring you the best news you'll ever see or hear.